Hare Krishna to everybody. Welcome.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Welcome on this very, very important day.
Hare Krishna
Today
Prabhu.
is
Hare
many
Krishna Prabhu.
things. Today is the eclipse. Today is International Yoga Day. And in our temple and in our this thing, it's a beautiful day because it's one of the days of our great Acharya Bhakti Vinoda Thakur. And we had spent a lot of time today discussing and presenting ourselves with the grand life history of great yogis like Bhakti Vinoda Thakur, whom we discussed. Here with you today to the yoga on the International Yoga Day in relevance to the Gita, and also some very interesting happenings in the world. So we hope to send you all back enlightened yogis. Okay? Join me in this nice prayer on this very auspicious day, a very eventful day, so that we may be able to be blessed by all these great personalities, especially His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabho Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Many things are happening. In fact, many things have been happening in this world today. In the past week, I was told, and I looked up, that there has been, in terms of youth, in terms of progress, in terms of the future of our country, the future of the world, youth are in focus. And I heard that a very famous, well-situated, successful, youthful person from Bollywood committed suicide. My intention is not to start this program with not a very upbeat topic on the day of yoga, but it is my desire to highlight yoga as being something really upbeat, but not really visible to everybody. When I read about this person committing suicide, I looked up immediately. I don't know, because I don't watch movies and I'm out of touch with. I don't know what films are and what the media has an influence on, especially the youth. So I looked it up and I saw something about this person. He mysteriously, not known to anybody, any reason, unknown to anybody, he took away his life. And I saw a lot of people commenting, "Oh, why did you do this? Why did you leave us like this? Oh, we will miss you. Oh, whatever it is, we could have talked it out and helped you." All sorts of comments lamenting that a young man, so talented, so capable, so successful, had to so easily give away his life, as so valueless action, performance, with no value towards his life. So it was very surprising, shocking to many, amazing to many, and very bewildering to many. Why do people do that? So, folks, I just want to tell you today that it's very relevant for us to discuss this topic because it's about connection with oneself. Yoga is about connection. The word yoga, recently spoken about by our Prime Minister on his yoga discourse for the whole nation and the world. Yuj, yujyate, bringing us together, connection is yoga. Unfortunately, that great Bollywood actor, well, must have been definitely a wonderful person, must have been definitely very endearing and very appealing to many of his fans, many of his friends. Amazingly, he was disconnected with himself. At a certain point of time, the disconnect rose to such an extent that he became ayoga. Ayogi means a person who is not connected with himself completely. Well, in different languages, there's different connotations. I mean, technically, that he actually has lost connection with himself. This is an important, very, very important topic on the International Yoga Day that I wanted to focus on. Rajput, he became disconnected with himself to such an extent that it revealed that he was going through a depression. He was going through many difficult situations with his mind. Well, why does this happen? Why does this happen? Depression is labeled by the WHO as one of the most prevalent disease in these times, in this day and age. So I'm going to just look at this in terms of today's International Yoga Day. And the Bhagavad-gita is one of the most important texts that speaks very clearly, candidly, eloquently about what yoga is. And amazingly, a lot of people know some portions of it, but they sort of fade away in understanding the conclusion. What is the conclusion? So International Yoga Day is such a wonderful, all-embracing event. It crosses all barriers of gender, caste, creed, religion, everything, and opens arms for good health, prosperity, and wonderful living for everybody. And everybody appreciates it. Everybody appreciates it. So definitely yoga, the way it is promoted, is good for healthy living, good for aligning our mind, our body, our divine self together. And in this way, staying in harmony with ourselves and staying in harmony with the world around us, the people in it. The definition of yoga, as I said, is connection. There are two types of connection we should speak about. One, connection with yourself, and after connecting with yourself, connecting with the Supreme Divine Self. Bhagavad-gita speaks very directly about it. I am speaking in secular terms till now, in terms of what Yoga Day should be. But I will very soon come to the conclusion of it. But let me carry on for some more time in this way, explaining to you some stuff in a neutral, secular way. Yoga is connection between yourself and connection of the self with the Supreme Self. These two connections have to be made in our life for us to remain safely, eternally, harmoniously placed. That's explained by Krishna very nicely. That's explained by Patanjali very nicely in terms of consciousness. Yogas chitta vritti nirodha. Chitta means consciousness. Vritti nirodha means removing it of all material contamination. Removing all material contamination from your consciousness is called yoga. Patanjali's yoga definition. Krishna gives in Bhagavad-gita several definitions. I want to use those definitions pertinent to the case history that we are studying now today, which is current and uppermost in the minds of everybody today. Why would a young man so successful give up his life? Are we in charge of our life? Who is responsible for our life? Are we responsible for our own lives? Can we actually give up our life? What are the rules and regulations governing this? Are there any rules and regulations governing it? Or we are at free will to do what we want to do, like this young Rajput did? These are moot questions, right? So, having defined what yoga is, I like to move ahead and ask a little bit of all of you. What would have run through your mind in some of those difficult times that you need to go through? Some of us do touch upon areas like, let me take my life away. In extreme cases, people do that. People actually do that. Now, there are counselors, there is counseling that can be done. There is all sorts of stuff that we tend to remove you from a little mental platform that you may be on. And why is that so? So Krishna explains this in Bhagavad Gita in many different ways. He explains this in Bhagavad Gita by explaining that when we are under the control of the modes of material nature, some of you may have studied in those courses that we did, and all of you must have been familiar. Some of you would have been familiar about this before also. 3 modes of material nature govern us and all our activities. And we, as human beings, definitely have to face many ups and downs and challenges in our life. But when these modes act on us as per our previous karma, or as per our association that we are in, or as per as desires that come through us, we have to be utilizing our intelligence and knowing what to do and what not to do. Kim karmeti, kim akarmeti, kaviyopyatra mohita. Krishna is explaining that what is to be done and what is not to be done. Even the very, very learned people can get confused. I don't know what to do. Was the type of confusion that Arjuna was in. And the confusion led to Krishna counseling him and bringing the Bhagavad-gita to him, which is now available to all of us. And what does Krishna say? Why would somebody do some disastrous, horrendous activity on himself, a self-destructive activity like suicide? What ails humanity? What ails a person that he will be driven to do this? We must understand this very clearly. Before that, what does suicide entail? Suicide means you give up your gross body. This body which you see in front of the mirror, that you rip off from you. Death means the disappearance of this gross body. Suicide means prematurely, before your scheduled time of death, you decide to take away your life. That is suicide. That means you take a decision that I don't want to live anymore in this body. But lo and behold, as soon as you commit suicide, you come to know that it is just that I have lost my body, but I'm still living. This is the horrendous result. This is the actual reality. You continue to live. Your conscious soul, spirit personality, spiritual personality, and you're still living. Just that you don't have the body with you. In other words, your desires are still there, your motivations are still there, your impulses are still there, your wants are still there, and you want to move ahead, but you don't have the vehicle for interacting in the world of matter, the physical body. In fact, it will become even more frustrating. Don't ever try it, because you will land yourself from the frying pan into the fire. You know the saying, from the frying pan to the fire. In the frying pan, it's very hot, so you jump off from the frying pan, fall into the fire, and get burnt up. So people don't understand what it is, the bodily concept of life. We think we are this body, and therefore by destroying this body, we will not live anymore. But to your great surprise, you'll discover that it's not true. You continue to live. Rajput is living somewhere. He's living without a physical body, and he's living in greater trauma. I'm very sorry to tell you this, but this is the reality. So that anybody should not try this and think that it is going to take you to a worryless, anxiety-less situation by taking away your body in suicide. Bhagavad-gita clearly tells us that we have a subtle body and we have a gross body. And the subtle body consists of mind, intelligence, and false ego. And the gross body is this Jada Sharira that we see in the mirror. And if you take away your gross body, you still continue to live in your subtle body as spirit soul. So you're without a gross body, but you still live. This is the amazing fact that everybody has to know, so that they won't do those type of things. They will look at doing some other type of things to become anxiety-free, to become worryless. This is knowledge. When you don't have that knowledge, you will tend to do these type of things. Dhyayato vishayan pumsah sangasteshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kama kama krodho vijayate. Krishna is very beautifully explaining that there is a cycle, meditation on the objects of your enjoyment. You develop sangha, association with them. Then you become very familiar and you develop desires in possessing and enjoying that particular sense object. Sanjat sanjayate kama kama krodho vijayate. And when we are not able to do, you become angry. Krodhat bhavati sammoha means total bewilderment. Sammoha occurs. Mohat bhavati vibhramaha. Then you become even more deeply bewildered. Smriti bramshat buddhi nasho. You lose your memory. Then you lose your intelligence. Buddhi nashat pranashyati. Then in this cycle, when you go step by step, you slowly lose your intelligence and you do horrible self-destructive acts. Because you fall from Rajoguna to Tamoguna. When Tamoguna, you will do suicidal acts because you're driven to madness. This is explained very nicely. So if you're disconnected with yourself, this can happen to you, which means that the material forces can actually take over you, because the more you get disconnected, the more it's easy for them to take over. More it's easy for the force to take over. So just think about it, how important self-realization is. How important it is for us to know that I am spirit soul and I am inside this material body. I will not die when the body dies. This is the first thing to know. So if I kill myself, I don't die. I continue to live disadvantaged. So unfortunately, we were never able to meet Rajput and speak to him Bhagavad-gita. We were never able to give him a Bhagavad-gita copy of Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. It's so unfortunate. And it is so fortunate that all of you have had this lesson. Just imagine that now if any such a situation comes in you where you're in great anxiety and depression, you could always call any one of us. You could always open the Bhagavad-gita and take recourse. Like Mahatma Gandhi said, whenever I have this type of a thought and anxiety, something trouble me, I open the Gita and always found the solution. This is Mahatma Gandhi's quote. I always kept it by my side, he said. So great personalities have used the Bhagavad-gita to remain connected with themselves. This is the most foundational, basic yoga, is to remain connected with yourself. This is what is Krishna's explanation in the first 2 chapters and in the 13th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita and in many places in the Bhagavad Gita. So the modes of material nature act. When the mode of tamoguna acts on you, you do not know what is right and what is wrong, and you think you think that anything you do without any knowledge or anything, you don't care about the repercussions, you don't care about the consequences, you really don't know what you're doing and why you're doing. So this is the nature of tamoguna. So we should always keep ourselves away from tamoguna and rajoguna. Most of this world runs on rajogun and tamogun. By at least practicing some amount of sattvic activity, we can remain in sattva guna. And it is easy for us to remain fixed in ourselves in sattva guna. In sattva guna, it is easy to get connected to yourself. So keeping ourselves in sattva guna is the best platform for being in yoga. So remember, whenever you get any of these depressing thoughts, which many people get in this world, it's very common these days in Kali Yuga, then immediately write down, these are the things I would do. I would loudly chant Hare Krishna and see if things happen better. I would read Bhagavad-gita and see if things happen better. I would call up the Swamiji. I will call up those people whom I know who taught me Gita, and I will tell them I'm in trouble, please help me out. I will actually go to the nearest place where there are such type of people, take part in some activity. I will utilize all these resources to help myself. You are the person who can help yourself the best. Krishna has given you this information, this knowledge, and we just have to utilize it. So on this International Yoga Day, I want to tell you, if at all at any time this tamogun takes over you, rajogun takes over you, and you feel lost and a little disconnected, immediately make an effort to connect with yourself. Drop everything else down. Nothing matters more than your own connection. Open the Bhagavad Gita, chant Krishna's name, contact a devotee, a bhakti yogi very close to you or nearby you, or visit the ISKCON center next to you, and we are here to very happily help you. It's a great loss to see a young man with intelligence, with capability, with success, get fooled by material nature and do something in his depressive state. Okay? I'm sure that our heart goes out to him. We pray to Krishna for him. We hope that he will get some cooling benefit and shelter by Krishna's mercy. Now, the next type of connection. The second type of connection is, we may be connected with ourselves, we may be sattvically oriented, but things won't last very stably unless we from that platform also connect with God, connect with our Supreme Father, Krishna. That Krishna reveals in Bhagavad Gita in the shloka, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na Shochati na Kankshati Samasarveshu Bhuteshu Madbhaktim Labhate Param. After being in that state of good connection with yourself, you can actually connect with me in bhakti. And then your connection with yourself becomes very stable, completely fixed. And not only that, you get a greater connection with me, a greater shelter with me. And in that shelter, there is nothing to fear. Ma suchaha, do not fear, Krishna is explaining. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshisyami ma suchaha. Right? So this is the real deeper meaning of yoga. Of course, today I'm talking about the second connection. People are a little weary when you talk about God, religion. They immediately say, no, yoga has got nothing to do with religion. Don't bring in God into it, please. I was in, sometime back, 2 years back, I was in Stanford, and I gave a talk to a group of students, professors, and everybody in a big classroom they had. Unfortunately, my presentation didn't work there because the projector there didn't work. So I gave an extempore talk. And they said, that's okay. We are used to talking to people like that. We prefer that. And so as I spoke, a Jewish gentleman who has been practicing yoga for nearly 10 years, he talked to me and said that, you see, I mean, you look like a religious man, but obviously you have not been talking anything religious. You're speaking about happiness and yoga and everything. I like that. The problem with religion is it's got too many rules and regulations. But yoga has got no rules and regulations, he said. Then I said that I think that you have a very, very simplified understanding of yoga. Yoga starts, Ashtanga yoga means yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dhyana, dharana, samadhi, like that. The first word is yama and niyama. Both of them are about rules and regulations. Then he said, oh, I did not know that. And then he actually I was so surprising that he came and sat with me. We had dinner together and there were several others. And at that time he said that, guess what I learned about it? I said, have you not read the Bhagavad-gita? Then he said, what? What is that book? I said, Bhagavad-gita? Please write it down for me. He had never heard about Bhagavad-gita. He was practicing yoga for 10 years. It was very amusing to me, but these things go on in the world, in the Western world. You have people practicing Bhagavad Gita and they never heard about the most authoritative text on yoga, the Bhagavad Gita. So I was very amused. I said, you haven't heard about this? He said, no. I said, I'm going to gift it to you. Really? He said. And I got him a book and said, I gift this to you. Is this the book you're talking about? My gosh, I'm going to read it. It feels very good. I said, you're going to benefit maximum from this. Your whole idea of yoga is going to become much deeper and you'll come out much better. By the way, don't worry. It's not about religion. It's really not about religion and religious codes alone. It's about yourself. In the Bhagavad Gita, you will connect yourself with the Supreme Personality, who is otherwise called Yogeshwara, the Lord of all the yogis, the topmost yogi. Yoga Ishvara means all the yogis look at him. All the yogis move towards him. He's the end of all yoga. The second connection makes your yoga complete. The first connection is yourself. Second connection makes your yoga complete. Sometimes people think, oh, it is religious. Now you're making it very religious. Well, that is what is the definition of yoga. Yoga, initially the definition is yoga indriya samyama. Yoga means controlling your mind, controlling your senses and focusing it. Yoga karma kaushalam. Yoga means the art of performing work with control over your senses, control over your mind, and achieving the real purpose of life. Yoga means connecting with yourself and staying always on your own platform. Yoga means connecting with the Supreme. Krishna speaks about that. He uses the word ayoga, ayukta, not being connected, not being yoginam api sarvesham madgateen antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yuktatomo matah. Out of all types of yogis, the karma yogi, the jnana yogi, the ashtanga yogi, the buddhi, whatever other types of yoga nowadays are there, so many branded yogas are there, which are not mentioned in the Shastra. Each one names the yoga after himself. You have, I don't want to name them, but you have people, founders of these yoga clubs, and they name the yoga process according to them. But out of all these yogis, Krishna is saying, my devotee is the topmost yogi. Shraddhavan bhajate yomam, one who worships me with great faith, is the topmost yogi. You see, this this connection with Krishna that every soul should have, with the absolute divine supreme truth, which every soul should have in order to consummate his yoga or complete his yoga. That is the pinnacle of the whole yogic instruction given by Krishna. You know, when the International Yoga Day was floated before, I think I mentioned this to you before, but it's very interesting. There was a Muslim, very nice gentleman, an imam, a very learned scholar, and a nice person, actually. He was very interested in all these scriptural books, and he's read the Bhagavad-gita very well, as much as Quran, everything. A scholar. And when all the whole world was asked to join and become part of the International Yoga Day, many countries joined together. Many religious people also joined together of different faith and religions without bothering anything about this is yoga. It's good for me. It's good for my body. It's good for my life, etc., etc. But this one imam said, no, don't. You become converted to being a Hindu. It's the Hindus who are promoting it. And if you read the Bhagavad Gita only, you will know yoga means connecting with Krishna. He was the only person who boldly got up and said this. And many Hindus were surprised that what is this man saying? He's saying, yoga means connecting with Krishna. And he quoted the shloka, Yoginam api sarvesham adgaten antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam, the last shloka from the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So the Hindus appreciated that. Many of them have understood, wow, it is mentioned like that, correct. Yoga means the topmost yogi is one who is my devotee, completely absorbed in me. He said, this yoga process will lead you to that, because that is the topmost yoga. So don't do the yoga. You become a Hindu. You'll change your religion. Of course, we did not talk at any time in our Bhagavad Gita sessions about this religion or that religion. We are not talking about any particular religion, and we don't call ourselves in any way belonging to some region. We are followers of Bhagavad Gita's tenets. We are followers of Vedic principles. We are followers of Sanatana Dharma. So this is not a biased religious comment. This is actuality. The Bhagavad Gita is the most authoritative text on yoga, and therein it says that topmost yoga is to connect with me. When you're connected with yourself, it's one stage self-realization. But the completeness of it, full stability comes when the self connects with the supremely divine personality. That's when your connection is complete. So these two complete our yoga. On International Yoga Day, I thought it's very necessary for us to think in these terms and understand that yoga means this. Then many of these calamities that are happening may not happen. If we connect with God, then we will not do those things that God doesn't want us to do. We will know what to do, and we will do that. And we will become a group of human beings who are so wonderfully staying together, being yogis connected together. Because I'm connected with myself, and because you're connected with yourself, I am in a better position to respect you, appreciate you, help you, serve you, without any misunderstanding of any sort. Yoga brings people together. Yoga unites the whole world. Yoga actually can have an amazing effect on the people. So definitely it's a wonderful idea. Just that we should get the full, deeper meaning of yoga instituted as per Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is explaining all these different types of yogas as a ladder. The yoga ladder. Arurukshor munir yogam yogarudas tadochate. He explains that this is like a ladder, and the first rung of the ladder is karma yoga, then jnana yoga, then ashtanga yoga, and finally bhakti yoga is the topmost rung of the ladder, as explained by Krishna in the 6th chapter. So all of them are great because they are yogis, because they all want to connect. They want to do something more than just be, bland matter alone and live a material life alone. So they are all great. But definitely from Karma Yoga, you can up yourself one notch to become a person who is a Jnana Yogi. And then from there, you can become a deep meditator on the form of Krishna within your heart. You can become an Ashtanga Yogi. And then from there, you can actually develop love for that Lord whom you have connected with and meditated upon. You fall in love with the Lord and you can become a Bhakti Yogi. And that's what all yogas lead to. That's the highest platform. We are all capable of becoming lovers of the supreme divine personality of Godhead. And that is the zenith of yoga. A lover you are, we are all lovers of God, and we are all lovers of ourselves. You have to learn to love yourself, and you'll do that best when you're connected with yourself. People think bad about themselves. People have an inferior, low self-esteem because they don't know the self. They think the body is the self. I look at their body in the mirror and say, I don't look good. I look too fat. I got a punch. I got not good face. I got to deck it up like this. The more you do and indulge in these things, the more it reinforces the idea that you are this body. And because of that, you have low self-esteem or a false high esteem. Because the body deteriorates. Beauty is but skin deep. It doesn't matter what color your body is. It doesn't matter how great the looks are. Those are all temporary. But you are more than the body. You are the spiritual personality inside. The world is now moved by another great thing happened. In America, George Floyd was actually kneed down by a policeman. And for 9 minutes, under the knees of the policeman, he lost his life. And unfortunately, George Floyd happened to be a Black American. And people discriminated. And there was a whole furor based on that. And a worldwide protest started. Black Lives Matter. Actually, Bhagavad-gita on this day of International Yoga says, black or blue or white or brown, all of them are spirit souls inside. Everyone matters. I know that there's been a lot of bias and there's a lot of ill treatment. Blacks have been ill-treated. India, we were ill-treated by the Britishers, by the Mughals, and there's a whole history. Almost every nation, every place in this world in Kali Yuga has got a history of ill-treatment on the basis of the bodily conception of life. But you know what? Black is beautiful. Krishna is black. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is black. Shyamam, Tribhangam, Lalitam, Niyata Prakasham. What to speak of colors? Lord Ramchandra was green, dark green. Krishna is bluish black and is beautiful. Draupadi was black. Prahalad, the great devotee, was black. But they were the most enduring and the most loved people. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is black. Black is the most important, supreme, beautiful color. Actually, so those things don't really matter. But what really matters, of course, in terms of people ill-treating others because of the difference in color or difference in gender or difference in nationality, difference in culture, creed, all these things are a bodily based discrimination. Again, people are not black, green, blue, tall, short, American, Australian, Indian, or male, female. People are all spirit souls. They're all functioning beings, and they all have to be respected. They all need each one's love and affection. without any discrimination about the externals or the culture or the background or the nationality. These are all external things. A true humanity means we love everybody. We love even the dogs, the cats, the rats, the gnats, everybody, because they are all spirit souls. They are all our brothers and sisters. This is a great, wonderful language of the Bhagavad-gita. If we learn the Bhagavad-gita, practice yoga, we develop love for all human beings, all living entities, and we can live in harmony with all of them. Just like I heard the report said, now in the lockdown, which is just passed, in the lockdown period, animals were freely moving around. They had a great time. They ran into the city. You could see, lots of birds moving around on the airports, on the shopping places, because it was not inhabited in any way, and the atmosphere was very nice. You had snakes crawling out. You had tigers and lions coming out. You had wonderful birds coming out with their entire family for a long walk. You had all sorts of things because they were not afraid. They were not afraid. But all the time they've been afraid of human beings because they'll catch them up, eat them up, destroy them, hunt them, shoot them. So if we live in harmony, it's a great life. And yoga is a central piece of that harmonious living. And Krishna instructs us about that. How we can bring out the best in us by yoga. How we can actually rise to the level of being lovers of God, lovers of the supremely divine personality, lovers of ourselves, and lovers of everybody around us. That's a great society, and that's what this land was famous for. World over, a few hundred years ago, it was like that. And there was plenty for everybody to take. And the people were very generous here. They liked each other, they helped each other. And there was a very rich civilization, rich internally with yoga principles in place. So we should promote yoga in its yoga as it is. And we should teach people the wonderful science of yoga as Krishna brought about. So I wanted to use these examples of the George Floyd case, the Bollywood actor committing suicide, and the International Yoga Day to bring forth a strong message that yes, we must become yogis, true yogis, yogi as it is supposed to be. Yoga as it is, we should practice from the pages of the Bhagavad-gita, and we will become a great planet. We will become energetic, rich, full of happiness and prosperity. So let's welcome yoga, as Krishna is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, on this International Yoga Day in its real essence, and dedicate ourselves to propagating this yoga principles and helping people. So let's chant Hare Krishna together once or twice for the sake of the International Yoga Day, which this is the highest instruction Krishna has given us. So join me. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. I'll be very happy if you have any questions that I may be able to answer, and we can move ahead from here. Hare Krishna. Please raise your hands if you have any questions. Any questions?
There's some questions on the chat.
Okay. We do not have any questions, so we'll call it a day. I wish you all a wonderful week ahead, full of Krishna consciousness and full of happiness. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki.